Hi, my name's Tracy Billyeald, and I just want to talk about an issue that I find and have found very distressing. There's been a consultation about the trees out the back here on and off for a few years now. Some people wanted them cut back, some people didn't, mixed views, not a lot of interest in the beginning. Then those that wanted them cut back, I think flagging up quite a lot of interest. In the end there was a go-ahead to cut the trees back to 15 feet, but somebody reported that there are bats out here, and I've seen them in the evenings in the summer at dusk. And so a further investigation was taken, and an ecological consultant, and the work was given the go-ahead to restricted areas. And I received a letter from the council, Epping Forest District Council, in October of last year, 2013, saying that to avoid the bird nesting season, it was recommended that any tree reduction should be undertaken between September and February inclusive. Well, this is now the end of April, 2 months outside of the recommended time. I came home from work yesterday and the work had already started further down here, and this morning before 9, one of the tree surgeons was back to work on the trees immediately outside of my property. One of the reasons I accepted this property was because of the beautiful trees and the shade and the natural habitat all around. And to see this habitat being cut back like this, out of season, my great concern is for the birds all year round. I place food down for the birds and watch them. It's a beautiful thing to do, to see these birds coming into the garden, taking the grain, going back into the trees. I've seen lots of squirrels, I see the bats, beautiful insects, and this is their habitat as well as ours. You know, we share this planet, we don't own it, and we need to respect the environment. I feel very, very strongly about this. If the works were delayed due to weather, then the work could have been picked up next season when the trees are naked and they can take the cutting with less damage to themselves and to the wildlife that uses these trees as their natural habitation. And I really want to bring people's attention to this, that, you know, when a recommendation has been given that in order to avoid the bird nesting season, the best time to cut is between September and February, and yet the cutting goes ahead 2 months later when the trees are in full bloom and the birds are already doing their spring-like nesting, that this is not the way to take care of the environment and to show respect for the trees and the planet that we share. I think a lot of people think that council estates can be kind of quite ugly places, and it's the trees and the birds that add a lot of beauty to these places, and I think we should preserve that. If you see behind me here, these magnificent trees have been cut back. It looks a little bit like a war zone, really. It's kind of ugly. All the beauty that was there, all the shade and the shelter and the protection that these wonderful trees were providing to the wildlife that lives there, has been cut back in the prime of the season, at the peak of the spring. This is really not the right time to do these sort of things.